with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown run.
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Hello again, everyone, and good Tuesday evening. Welcome into this, the latest edition of Sports Blitz Live. I am Andy Graham, alongside Luke Robinson, and we'll be with you for the next 2 hours, taking your comments, taking your phone calls, 256-234-6221, talking about everything going on in the world of sports. We're on the heels of SEC Media Days. They have picked the SEC, Alabama to win the West, Georgia to win the East. My Auburn Tigers, number 6 in the West. I think that's probably fair. I think that's I have on record, I don't think that's where they'll finish, but I'm okay with that's where they'll start. In this media's I think 9 times in 31 years, they have actually been right about who they picked to win the SEC. So they picked Georgia to win it overwhelmingly. So,
Again, very fair.
Odds, yeah, oh, absolutely. But the odds are now against Georgia, so 9 out of 31 times. But we will continue our SEC preview tonight, as we do each and every year about this time. We looked a couple of weeks ago at Texas A&M, and I don't remember the other team. No, it was somebody in the East. Had to be probably Georgia. Maybe? I don't know.
What is your question
Kentucky. Kentucky, that's who it was.
What was your question?
Who did we preview 2 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah, it was Kentucky.
It was Kentucky. I couldn't come up with them.
It wasn't last week?
No, it was 2 weeks ago. Me and you were here last week.
Yeah, okay.
And 2 weeks ago is when me and Jim started the preview.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm on the same page. I'm sorry. I've been very busy. I was rescuing a toddler from the side of the interstate, and then I was kidnapped for a while. I'm back, though. It's all good.
Not too soon.
I'm back.
All right. Florida and Arkansas we will look at tonight. The Razorbacks picked 5th in the West, and Florida picked 5th in the West. So both of those teams, in the East. So both of those teams, not a lot expected of them, maybe nationally. We'll take a look at that. We'll bounce around, talk about anything that you'd like to talk about. Some probably interesting recruiting news, a lot going to ride on this week. Auburn's got Big Cat Weekend. Alabama's got their big barbecue. I think there's some other places that are out there have a big deal this weekend. So hopefully there'll be some positive news for everybody involved in those. I think there's a big announcement tomorrow. DeMarcus Riddick, I think he's a 5-star out of
4 o'clock.
Just next to us, I think in Chilton County. Beginning to sound like maybe favoring Auburn.
Yeah, I'd be shocked at this point if it weren't Auburn. And it'd be a nice win. It'd be a really nice win for Hugh Freeze. He needs some victories like that. I said as soon as he was hired that he's going to win some battles like that. Alabama and Georgia has always won those. Hugh Freeze is going to win some of them. And again, it's fine. What's funny is Georgia, what they did yesterday. You know what they got yesterday?
Number 1 linebacker in the country.
They just went ahead and got the number 1 linebacker in the country. So and Alabama already has 3 linebackers committed that are all in the top 150. So it's fine. But it just shows you again the SEC is a meat grinder. Everybody's going to pretty much get theirs. And you can't even celebrate recruiting victories much anymore, because you got to go on to the next one.
Well, this is the task of Hugh Freeze. It's that, and it's been so long since, let's say he does commit. And a couple of weeks earlier, you had a kid from Tuskegee, Joseph Phillips, who was, Georgia was in on him. They wanted him, an edge rusher. Those kind of guys, for the last 3-4 years, Auburn hasn't gotten any of those guys. So you would think, okay, yeah, let's celebrate the fact that we got, a handful of these guys. No. That's not the task. The task is to get 15 of those guys.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. That's the problem that faces Hugh Freeze. And it's not going to happen all in one season. But can he even admitted it at media days? He said the 24 and 25 class will probably tell the tale of my tenure at Auburn. And, you know, unless Auburn can really start bringing in those guys and really start changing the roster, then they'll be able to compete every now and then like they have traditionally, but they won't be able to compete consistently.
You know, one thing, and again, this isn't Luke talking, this is one of the moderators, a well-known, very, not acclaimed, trusted Bama moderator, not just blowing smoke kind of guy. But he put out there not too long ago, a couple hours ago maybe, that one of the things about DeMarcus Riddick that he felt was he has always made it pretty clear that it's not just about football with him. He wants to enjoy college a little more, wants to have a little more fun. And when you put it in that context, yeah, I feel like Auburn's probably the better spot. I've always said this. I mean, I think Auburn fans enjoy their success more than Alabama fans enjoy theirs. The thing is, Alabama's is more sustained, so it's harder to get up or get down. And it does sound like that vibe sort of jives with what Auburn sells. And again, that's fine. I mean, again, it's not for everybody, and Auburn's not for Alabama's not for everybody. Auburn's not for everybody. So sometimes you just miss on a guy, and there'll be some Alabama fans saying they don't, you know, they didn't want him. They didn't. That's not true. Alabama wanted him. Georgia wanted him. Sometimes you're going to lose out on a kid. It just happens. And I know it's hard for fans of any ilk to believe that somebody wouldn't want to go to their school, but that's just the way it is sometimes.
Hard to believe, but that is true. I think we discussed it last week. We wondered if LSU would be voted number one or Alabama.
Yep.
LSU gets 117 first-place votes. Really, the points, it was only like a 60-point, 1899 to 1838 is where it ended up. So that ended up being a very close vote.
You know, what really swayed me to thinking LSU was going to win that preseason vote was that I was listening to Sirius XM, and they were at Media Days, and the day before all the votes are released, all three hosts say they voted for LSU, and they were all surprised the other one voted for LSU. And it reminded me of the old Eddie Murphy skit from back in the 80s. I think it was Delirious. It could have been Raw, but I think it was Delirious, when he was talking about, hey, you know, again, this was the mid-'80s. He was talking about, hey, we're going to have a black president before you know it, because what's going to happen is a bunch of white people are going to get drunk and vote for the black guy thinking that it's going to be a joke, and then he's going to win. That was an Eddie Murphy bit. Don't blame Luke for it. It was funny at the time. But he and I was thinking that's what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to think they're doing, you know, saying, I'm going against the grain and going with LSU, when then everybody goes against the grain unbeknownst to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it turns out, though, Alabama wins in a squeaker. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, though, like if you think LSU's going to win the West, you either believe LSU will go undefeated, or you believe Alabama's going to lose 2 games. I think, because I don't think you can say, all right, Alabama's going to beat LSU in Tuscaloosa and then still lose the West. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I don't think it's outlandish, though, to pick LSU to win it, to win the West.
Oh, I don't think it's outlandish at all. I'm just saying I think that's what your belief has to be. You either believe LSU is like legit CFP Final Four kind of team, or you think Alabama is going to lose 2 or 3 games and in the conference. Obviously, knowing Texas doesn't count for the SEC this year. And I can buy that. I mean, I can see where people don't have faith in Alabama in this particular team. I can see it. In fact, a lot of my friends that are pretty diehard, they believe Alabama's 1 year away from competing for a national championship again. I tend to think, look, Alabama's won a national championship with Jake Coker. They should have won one with a freshman in Jalen Hurts. They were in the college football playoff with Blake Sims. Again, these aren't bad quarterbacks, but they certainly aren't Tua Tagovailoa or Bryce Young or something. So I feel like that they can do it with this type of quarterback. And I look at the SEC, and you talk about, I think you have it on here, the all SEC teams. I thought I saw it somewhere. Yeah. But the KJ Jefferson, Joe Milton, who we know very little about except for the fact he can throw it out of the stadium.
Yeah.
And Jaden
Daniels. He got beat out, when he came to Tennessee.
Right.
No, he couldn't start at Michigan.
Right. So, I mean, again, everybody talks about how much talent he has, and that's great. But, all I've seen him do is when they were playing, was it Pittsburgh that they were playing, and he gets the ball, and they're down, and he's driving, and he, runs out of bounds, just runs around, and the clock runs out?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, we don't have a lot to go on. So they've made him third team All-SEC quarterback, which seems like maybe a bit of a stretch. I probably would have taken my shots. I just would have filled in whoever starts at Georgia.
Well, I mean, I think Will Rogers probably has earned.
Or Will Rogers, certainly.
I mean, he probably deserved higher than third team. But I'm not. I would take. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I'll ask, maybe I need to ask this guy. But I would take Will Rogers over KJ Jefferson.
Now, here's my thing. Would I take him over KJ Jefferson? Yes. Do I think he will perform as well as KJ Jefferson's team this year? Probably not. And I think the reasoning is that since you have this new coach in Zach Arnett, again.
Are we supposed to factor in how the team's record?
Well, I think we're supposed to. I think it's all a part of it, right? I mean, isn't it? I mean, would you rather?
It was just performance.
I mean, well, you got to think that Will Rogers won't have as many yards as he had these last couple of years because he won't be in the air raid.
That's true.
Or at least we don't think he will. We don't know much about Zach Arnett. He may be running the air raid for all we know.
I think that he makes better decisions than KJ Jefferson
now,
on a more routine basis.
Yeah, and the other thing, I think your record will factor in, though. If you're a great quarterback on a team with a losing record, they're going to dock you some points. KJ Jefferson and Arkansas, some people see as a bit of a dark horse. I mean, I don't think they can challenge for the West, but
again, that's imaginary. Your record. Shouldn't this be based on?
But all this is imaginary.
But shouldn't that be based on what you have done?
I mean. Look, I can pull out somebody and forget the quarterback.
Which again, it's why Joe Milton shouldn't be on here. Well, he's done. He's never played.
Well, let me put it.
Except for, I guess, the last few games last year.
Let me put it another way then. I'm surprised Jace McClellan was second-team running back.
I was a little surprised at that myself.
I mean, I don't know. Now, if I were a voter, maybe you say, okay, who would you put there? Shoot, I don't know.
Well, Kendall Milton.
Georgia?
Did he play a lot last year?
They got a platoon system.
Yeah. Apparently, I missed it.
I think we have a call. Let's go ahead. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
How you doing, Luke?
Good.
Hey, I think Bama's going 11-1.
I'd take it right now. Who's the one?
I think they're going to lose to LSU.
Oh, at home.
Yes.
Okay, now you may have changed my mind. I mean, because
now LSU's got to lose too.
Yeah, now LSU's got to lose too if Alabama wants to win the West. But I'll say this: if Alabama goes 11-1 and their losses to LSU, and LSU's not putrid, Alabama will get in the playoffs.
Yeah, and now I hate to even spoil. I'm sorry, Andy, but I think Auburn's going 9-3.
I'll take it.
Sorry, Andy. Sorry that he would sign me up.
Yeah, Auburn's going 9-3, and I think Georgia's going 11-1.
Well, who would they lose to is the question.
I think they're going to lose to Florida.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. I mean, hey, I appreciate I appreciate the optimism, but boy, I just don't see a loss on their schedule.
I was going to tell y'all do a great job on Tuesday night.
Well, appreciate that. Thanks for calling in. Okay.
Can I get y'all's autograph?
Anytime you want it, you just come on up here. We'll put it on something for you, a piece of paper, a cap, whatever.
Can I just ask them to send me an autograph picture?
Yeah, you got that in the back? He'll do something. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. All right. Well, we got to take a break. We're up against our first one. But again, we're going to start the SEC preview. Hopefully, we'll be joined by Brandon Olson from Locked On Gators in a couple of segments, and look forward to what he has to say about the mighty Gators. Maybe we tell him, hey, it's already been predicted you're going to beat Georgia. I bet he'd appreciate that.
I think Brandon's been pretty much a straight shooter. I think he'd wonder.
How's that going to happen?
Yeah,
somebody predicted Auburn to beat Georgia today. So
I saw that, and that was a Bama fan trying to win favor with you guys or whoever. Because, again, If Auburn does beat Georgia, okay, I'll be glad
All
to eat
bets are
crow.
off.
But it ain't happening.
Seems unlikely. But like I said, stranger things have happened, I suppose. Not many.
Not many.
We'll be back with more Sports
Like babies, like people
Sports-
pulling over to save babies that really aren't
Sports
there.
Blitz Live right after this.
Forbes Auto Sales, located on Highway 280 in Kellyton, is all about selection and service. Selection of clean, sharp used cars, trucks, and SUVs selected by Robert Forbes himself. Service. Forbes Auto Sales is all about servicing vehicles on the lot, but also servicing your personal vehicle. Keep this in mind. If you don't see what you're looking for on the lot, just tell old Robert to go shopping for you. That's what he does. Personal service, and that's what it's all about at Forbes Auto Sales in Kellyton.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you, just beginning tonight's program. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. We're brought to you each and every Tuesday evening by JR Sports Bar and Grill, a great place to have lunch or dinner right here in downtown Alexander City. It's a great atmosphere, great food, and great people there at JR's Sports Bar and Grill. Go and check them out when you get a chance. Luke, the Florida Gators. Billy Napier in his second season, not, 5-7, well, 6-7 last year, 3-5. Going back and looking, Florida it's kind of a weird, it's maybe the weirdest place to coach in the SEC, because you either seem to have massive success or you're a complete failure. And I don't. And every time they hire a coach that I think, okay, this is the right guy, he is terrible. And every time they hire a guy that I think this is going to be a disaster, he ends up winning the East.
Well, okay, first of all, before probably 84, 85.
Oh, they were nothing.
They were nothing.
Never
then
won the SEC.
Charlie Pell gets him in a little trouble.
A little trouble, yeah.
Yeah, a little trouble. And, they eventually hire Spurrier in the early 90s, same time Alabama hired Gene Stallings.
And they always he won so many SEC titles.
He did.
That's -1 because they should have won it in 90. Mm-hmm. But they were on probation.
Well, and actually in 90 he was there in 90. Yeah. That's right. But he does have one national championship again, and I mean, there are very few coaches that have a national championship, so I'm not trying to belittle that. He also played at least for one more.
In his defense, he did have to play one of the top 5 best teams ever in college football in '95 Nebraska. In my opinion.
Well, they lost 62 to 27.
It was not pretty.
It wasn't pretty.
I don't.
And here's the other thing that Florida, and I'll give Florida credit for this, that Spurrier just also happened to be at Florida while Florida State was at their peak too.
True.
So
great battles.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Hated each other.
And that Bobby Bowden was doing his thing, but then of course you get to Urban Meyer after Zook, wasn't it? Ron Zook, and then
I think the
Zookster comes in, and Zook recruited really well, and Urban Meyer gets this talent, and then Urban Meyer wins a couple of titles. Great, but then Saban seemed to have slapped him back into next week. He sort of that 09 SEC title game.
But it was a close game. It was.
Well, Alabama won. I want to say 38.
But they pulled away in the fourth quarter, right? Didn't they? I thought.
It was close at halftime. Then Alabama scored coming right out of half, and the wheels sort of fell off.
Yeah.
But and then the next year Alabama played them again in Tuscaloosa, and if you remember, Florida drove all the way down the field, had 4th and goal, tried the jump pass, and everybody knew it was coming. And Nico Johnson, I think, intercepted it. And then Alabama destroys them in 10 and beats them pretty good in 11 in the Swamp. And but now in 11, I think wasn't 10 his last year?
Yeah, Will Muschamp, because even Auburn beat him in 11.
Mm-hmm. So,
well, I say we were coming off a national title. So.
I feel like, Urban got some measure of revenge in 14 in the playoffs when he was with Ohio State. But, it felt like Florida since then, has sort of been wallowing. Muschamp wasn't great. Had some really bad moments. Who did
Dan Mullen? 10 wins, 11 wins.
Well, and the guy who had the affair with the Shark, Jim McElwain.
He went to back-to-back. Now they weren't very good.
No,
but he still went to back-to-back East titles. SEC title games.
Which one of them lost to? Was it Georgia Southern? Was it which? I can't remember what team it was. That Georgia State or
I believe that wasn't that Will Muschamp.
I think that was Muschamp. Yeah.
Where they were blocking themselves, right?
Yeah, something like that. Pretty tough.
That was
tough
bad.
scene. Look, it just goes to show you that. Florida arguably has. I don't even know if it's arguable. They definitely have top 5 resources across the board, in terms of brand recognition, in terms of access to talent, location, everything, and
you think
even with all that.
Is as big a draw as it used to be.
The what?
The beach is as
well. They're not really on the beach.
But Florida.
But they are in Florida, and not only just being in Florida is pretty awesome. And then you are so close to so much talent. So I feel like that helps them. But even with all that, they've been wallowing. Just wallowing in their own self-crapulence. Mm-hmm. I think that was Montgomery Burns who had that term one time.
And again, I thought Billy Napier was the right choice, or at least a good choice.
And he might be. This is sort of a microcosm of everything in society today. A lot of people in Florida are already ready to throw him under the bus. Now, I'll say this.
If he has another losing season.
And boy, the schedule this year isn't easy. The schedule next year is very difficult. They travel to Texas. They got UCF. I think they've got Miami on the schedule, along with Florida State. Is that right?
That or Central Florida or something. They played.
I think they played all the Florida teams.
Florida
the big, the other big
in
three.
the next few years. Yeah.
So, but I was listening to a show on Sunday, and the hosts were saying, of all the coaches that were at SEC Media Days, the one who unbelievably felt like he was never there was Billy Napier. Like, even Zach Arnett, they were saying, like, we at least we got to meet him. We knew he was there. I mean, it felt like Billy Napier was just invisible.
That's true. I don't even recall a single comment. But we got to take a break. But when we come back, hopefully we'll be joined by Brandon Olson from Locked On Gators. Be sure to join us when we come back with more right after this.
Are you in the mood to hit the road and travel in style? Then head on over to Opelika RV. You'll receive huge savings on travel trailers, lightweight campers, and fifth wheels by KZ, Sanibel, and StarCraft. Not only will you get the best prices around at Opelika RV, they also have a parts and service center to ensure you're always ready to enjoy a no-hassle road trip. Visit Opelika RV today for superior service and prices. Opelika RV, located at 6752 Highway 280 East in Opelika, or give them a call at 334-742-9160.
SCAG, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that SCAG means productivity and reliability. Every SCAG mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. SCAG.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Looking for an attorney you can trust for your real estate closings? Wisdom Law Firm at Lake Martin has you covered. Your real estate transactions are fast, convenient, and professional every step of the way. Wisdom Law is certified and licensed by the American Land and Title Association and approved by all local lenders. Visit Wisdom Law Firm at 6366 Highway 49 in Dadeville or at their Auburn location at 2353 Bent Creek Road. No communication concerning a lawyer's legal services shall be published or broadcast unless it contains the following language, which shall be clearly legible or audible as the case may be. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy Graham and Luke Robinson here with you. About 30 more minutes left in the first hour of tonight's program. Going to go to the phone line and welcome in a very special guest, Mr. Brandon Olson from Locked On Gators. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. I appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, let's dive right in and talk a little bit about the Florida Gators. Last year, 6-7, 3-5, and Billy Napier's first year. What are you thinking about the job that he did, and what are you thinking about Florida maybe improving in year 2?
I'm pretty confident that year 2 is going to be a better year on the field, but I'm not sure it's going to be a better record because I do think the schedule is more difficult this year than last year. But, Billy Napier, he started his Florida career the best way you possibly can, beating Utah there. And then, of course, just it was sputtering throughout the rest of the year. A lot of highs, a lot of lows. For me, I think he's done a great job. It's just a matter of he needs to do things consistently for me. Like, you can't lose to Vanderbilt. You can't almost lose to South Florida. You can't lose just the games that you should not lose. Kentucky at home is not a game that you should lose if you're Florida, but they did. But, I mean, he's done a better job on the recruiting trail than any Florida coach since Urban Meyer. Granted, that's not saying much, but a better job on the recruiting trail than any of them. So I guess for now, we know it's going to be a process. He said that when he got hired, and I'm cool to let it ride.
So what do you think, I mean, besides recruiting, and it looks like his recruiting really is picking up. I mean, he's doing a great job on 3. He's 3rd in the country, just ahead of Alabama and just a spot or 2 behind Georgia. So but besides recruiting, what else needs to change? Is there any kind of cultural change that needs to happen?
I think he's done a pretty good job of the cultural change of kind of pushing out kids that don't really want to be there and don't really want to put in the work. I liked how he's built his coaching staff. I mean, obviously, now Florida has one of the biggest coaching and support staffs in the country. But I like how he's built his coaching staff with people who have similar philosophies to him, are modern coaches. Huge fan of what he's done with the offensive line. Rob Sale, Darnell Stapleton are 2 very proven offensive line coaches, so I love having them there. But, I mean, for me, it's about getting consistently better. And if he can't, let's say, if he can't get guys to show up week in and week out, that's going to be a concern for me.
Last year, offense wasn't necessarily the problem. The numbers didn't look that bad. Defensively, fairly ugly. 175 yards on the ground, 28 points, giving up a game. What's going to change this year, or why should you feel better about the defense, do you think?
I think that the talent's better this year than they had last year in Gainesville, specifically on the interior defensive line. Javon Dexter played significantly more snaps than any other interior defensive lineman did in the SEC last year. Obviously, he's not here anymore, but there's not going to be a player eating that many snaps. You've got more depth that you built through the transfer portal with players like Caleb Banks from Louisville, Cameron Jackson from Memphis, who was all-conference last year, but also bringing in Austin Armstrong to replace Patrick Toney. Patrick Toney, co-DC last year. He was the defensive play caller. He went to the Arizona Cardinals after the season. Replaced him with Austin Armstrong, who last year at Southern Miss was the 8th most aggressive defense in the country, blitzed 40% of the time, got hired by Nick Saban, and a week later, Billy Napier took him from Alabama there. So I think with Austin Armstrong, just this defense is just going to be way more aggressive, which I love Patrick Toney. I think he's very modern schematically, but we did need more aggressive pass rush plan there, and I think Austin Armstrong brings that to the table while maintaining the coverage philosophies that Patrick Toney also brought.
Are you going to make the Utah trip?
I believe I am. That's the plan right now.
All right, we're going to need a report from that. That sounds like a fun place to go, and I assure you it'll be at a fever pitch. And that's going to be a Thursday night. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool because like they're going to be the spotlight game. They're going to be the national game that everyone's watching on a Thursday night, week 1. You prefer having an awesome Saturday night game with that atmosphere, but Pac-12 desperately needs the viewers at that point, so I get it.
Yeah, it does seem like the Pac-12 is. I mean, you'll be able to catch the game. Every other Utah game, I think, on the Hallmark Channel with the new contract they're about to sign. But, I'm looking at the schedule other than Utah. Obviously, look, the game with Georgia is always going to be difficult. You do get Tennessee at home. You're at LSU. And Florida State should be much improved. Obviously, at South Carolina could be tricky because they've gotten a little better. But I look at this schedule, and I'm just not. I'm not scared of this schedule necessarily if I'm Florida. Next year scares the bejesus out of me if I'm a Gators fan. You play UCF, Florida State, and Miami in the non-conference. I think you have to travel to Austin, Texas, as every SEC team will be playing either Texas or Oklahoma. And boy, next year is going to be that's going to be difficult. So what I'm getting at here is, if you're Billy Napier, you really need to show some improvement this season to give anybody the slightest glimpse of hope for the next season. Because if you fall on your face this season, I mean, people are going to be really down on you for 2024, aren't they?
Yeah. Granted, there were quite a few Florida Gators fans that were down on Billy Napier before he even started coaching. But I think with Napier, a big part of it is the recruiting class he's putting together for 2024. Like you mentioned before, like you've got your QB, you've got 4 O-linemen, you've got everything but corners really stacked up right now for 2024. And I think that alone would buy him time, even if this year doesn't go as well as you're anticipating. Which, I mean, even this year, you're looking at if you can win 6 games again, like that's the expectation in 2023. Next year, you know you're running the gauntlet. But it's also impossible to predict because you have no idea what's going to be going on at quarterback for yourself next year. You know, it could be Graham Mertz coming back for a second year. It could be Max Brown, a true junior, or it could be DJ Lagway, your highly ranked freshman, in which case none of those really drive confidence in you. But, yeah, it's going to be a gauntlet. I think a big part of it is just Billy Napier showing he can recruit and just showing that the program is trending in the right direction. I think Florida is trying to be done with the 3 years and done with their head coach. I think they're finally past that. I think Scott Strickland can't afford to do that again. I don't think that he gets to hire another coach. So I think Billy Napier's pretty safe. Also with his contract, I would say he's safe until at least 2025.
All right, final question. It looks like Florida's quarterback will be Graham Mertz, right?
Correct.
You
could feel the enthusiasm.
It just emanates right from the phone. You know what's funny about him is when he burst onto the scene at Wisconsin as a freshman, everybody was just saying, this guy is going to be the next big thing. And so it goes from, you got Graham Mertz at quarterback when you're at Wisconsin as a true freshman to, Florida's got Graham Mertz, whatever that means, as a transfer. So, boy, his regression has certainly been notable. But, you know, maybe this is the fresh start he needs.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely going to be significantly better than we've ever seen him be. Big part of that because he's no longer playing an offense that's from 1905 before the forward pass was legalized. So I think that we'll see him benefit from that. But Graham Mertz last year with Wisconsin, they ran the ball 60% of the time. When they ran play action, it was, I think it was like 30% of the time. 18% of their total plays were play action. And for me, that's just completely unacceptable. If you're going to run the ball 60 times, you have to operate out of play action. So I think he was just set up for failure. I don't think he's going to be awesome by any stretch. I do think he's going to be much improved than what we've seen from him before. And also, you know, he's not going to be ripping off 80-yard touchdown runs like Anthony Richardson could, but he's also not going to be missing as many slants. So I think that overall, the offense gets way less explosive, but more consistent throughout. And so if that's how it goes, I think everybody in Florida is perfectly fine with that. That's Napier ball.
Brandon, we really appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you so much for the great information. Do you want to plug Locked On Gators?
I mean, yeah, you could catch me on Locked On Gators every single day talking about the Florida Gators and, I mean, trying to keep the fan base sane.
Good luck with that.
It's not going well.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great night. Have a great season.
Thank you. Have a great night.
See you, Brandon. Thank you.
Up against the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice.
honey, it's Mom. Just wanted to call and check in, see how everything's going. You'll probably say not to worry. Everything is great. But we miss you. I'll call you back later.
Everything's great. I love it here.
This is Joseph Dean with Alabama Funeral Homes. As many of you are aware, we had a fire that significantly damaged our facilities. We are in the process of getting those rebuilt. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused the families that we serve. I want you to know that we are capable of handling all of your needs at Frederick Dean Funeral Home of Opelika, which will be servicing Alabama Funeral Homes families. We can be reached at our same number, 256-896-4502, or by email at joseph@alabamafuneralhomes.com.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Frontline Outfitters provides all your aftermarket parts for your cars, trucks, and as well as your professional tinting solutions for auto, residential, and commercial buildings. Frontline Outfitters also handles vinyl wraps, spray-in bed liners, truck accessories, LED lighting, paint correction and detailing, and much more. Make sure Frontline Outfitters of Alexander City is your first call for tinting and aftermarket solutions. Call us today, 256-409-8100.
The 40th Annual World Deer Expo presented by Prodigy Health Plus, July 21st through 23rd, BJCC, the world's largest hunting show. Discounted tickets at worlddeerexpo.com.
Looking to sell your car, truck, or SUV? Look no further than King Honda. As a local family-owned business, we're committed to providing you with the best service and value. Nobody pays you more for your vehicle than King Honda.
You've trusted us for generations. You can trust King Honda to give you top dollar for your vehicle, whether you buy from us or not. Trust in our time-tested tradition of excellence at King Honda.
Visit King Honda today and get top dollar for your vehicle. Located on the corner of Opelika Highway and 280.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. About 20 more minutes left in the first hour of tonight's program, brought to you each and every Tuesday evening by Sunshine Heating and Air. For all your heating and cooling needs, give them a call today. Kevin Kill and his group do an outstanding job, and they will always treat you right and fair.
Is the American flag always behind us, and I just am now noticing it?
It's always been behind us. Sometimes it is a little bit more obscured.
Feeling like feeling a little Jason Aldean-ish?
Maybe we got a little haughty tonight. I don't know. Could be something about that. I don't know. All right.
Try Sports Blitz in your small town.
Yeah, really. Favorite or most memorable Florida players and coaches?
Oh, God.
Obviously, Spurrier.
Yeah, it's got to be Spurrier, right?
Oh, I mean, that's obviously the best one. But
I'll tell you,
I hated Kerwin Bell because I think Auburn was 16-3 into the fourth quarter in '86, and he led to come back. That's all you ever heard was Kerwin Bell, Kerwin Bell.
I'll know, and it's so funny. Like that was right when I was like seriously getting into college football.
And I think McGinty, the guy that was at Auburn and missed the field goal in '84, was the one that kicked the winning field goal.
He is.
Okay.
Now,
four-eyed jackleg.
What I remember about that team, they had an offensive lineman that went like early in the draft, and I can't remember what his name was, but they had Kerwin Bell
in '86.
In '86. They had Kerwin Bell, and they had a wide receiver named Ricky Natile.
Yeah.
And they called him the Rocket. And they said, this is the quarterback that throws to the rocket. There was a commercial, a TV commercial. My parents had a condo in Destin at the time, and I was there, and I remember seeing a commercial and it said, this is the quarter. They had a nickname for Kerwin Bell. I can't remember what it was, but Kerwin Bell throws to the rocket, who gets blocked for by whatever the other guy's name was. And I remember being astounded. I was like, I'd never seen a commercial for a college football team. Like, I'd seen commercials for a game. You know, Alabama against Tennessee this weekend. I'd never seen a commercial for the team itself. Yeah. And even then, I mean, I was probably 13, 14 years old. I thought, boy, it seems like the players should get paid for that. But anyway, that's why I remember. Kerwin Bell was pretty awesome. He had some other comebacks, I think, in that season too.
Well, I saw a thing on I was reading somewhere, and they said the two guys that they got now, the headline was, they may be the best duo Florida's ever had. And I thought, better than Fred Taylor and Elijah Williams?
Oh, and running backs?
They were really, really good.
Yeah, they've had some dudes, you know, and Emmitt Smith and whoever else they had.
Yeah.
They've had some dudes, but I would say what probably my favorite, I mean, you know, look, it's easy to say Tim Tebow. They've had two of the more Christian quarterbacks, more power Christian quarterbacks, probably in memory. I mean,
Danny Werfel may be the best guy. I mean, he even may be better than Tim Tebow.
It's tough. They're both at the right hand of God.
He's built like, homes for homeless people.
Yeah.
I mean, the dude is just, they're just really good guys.
And Werfel
was wonderful human beings.
And I remember Werfel was at Fort Walton. I think in his recruiting, it came down to Alabama and Florida. And I remember just, hoping that Alabama would get him. And I thought Alabama would. And then Spurrier goes and gets him. And, of course, it worked out pretty well.
He'd have been wasted in a Gene Stallings.
In a Gene Stallings system, it probably wouldn't have worked out great.
But still, and he's kind of tied to Auburn a little bit because he, I think, started the 93 game and got benched.
That's right.
And he came in to replace, who was the guy? He was a Heisman candidate until the 94 Auburn game. And he threw like 3 picks in the first half. Yeah. And Spurrier benched him, and Werfel came in. And the rest is history.
I can't
What was that guy? He was blind. Terry Dean.
Terry Dean.
Yeah.
That's it.
That was. So, that was, I always kind of felt like there was some kind of connection with him. But I always liked Werfel. He threw the prettiest out routes. And the throws to Jack Jackson and Riedel Anthony and Ike Hilliard and Quezzy. Oh, my goodness.
They had dudes.
They were so beautiful.
They had dudes. They were a lot of fun.
96 team especially.
They had some ball players and a ball coach. There's no doubt about it.
Did you see the tweet he did on Kirby?
On Kirby?
Yeah.
What did he say?
It was a picture of him and Kirby, and it said, I heard Kirby said something about the Georgia-Florida rivalry. He said, I think he got that backwards, but he said he can come talk to me when he wins 11 out of 12.
He might do it.
Yeah, well, he may do it, but we'll see. Got to take a break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more of Sports Blitz Live right after these messages.
It's truck season at AHSAA Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month. At AHSAA Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at AHSAA Honda, Tony Serra Ford, Serra Nissan, and Serra Chevrolet.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com. You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry? The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider. Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Coastal Construction Design is the area's storm specialist experts and offers free roof inspections absolutely free to assess your needs. Their roofing experts get your home or commercial needs handled from start to finish. They have worked with all major insurance sources for decades, and they are permitted and approved for Lake Martin. Coastal Construction Design also handles exterior restoration, including siding and gutters. They are also a GAF certified contractor. Visit coastalconstruction.pro or call 251-215-3429. Coastal Construction Design. All things roofing from start to end.
Let Riverbank and Trust open doors for you. Whether you're purchasing land, a lot by the lake, or building or buying a home, begin with Tallapoosa County's loan experts. They'll guide you through the entire process, providing local decision-making, prompt responses, and the best real estate loan solutions for your unique needs. And in most cases, Riverbank and Trust can close your loan in 30 days or less, and they'll walk by your side every step of the way. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. We invite you to experience it for yourself.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. Thank you to Brandon Olson from Locked On Gators talking to us about this upcoming season. Not thrilled about the quarterback, but feels like the defense can get better, and boy, they need to. They were not good last year.
He didn't go all Bob Kessling on us, but he was getting close.
All right, maybe favorite or most memorable Florida games?
For me personally, well, I mean, I'll tell you, if it's not Alabama, that the game against Nebraska,
have to be one.
I'll never forget. The game against Nebraska is kind of funny. I mean, I can tell it now. It's been, 30 years.
Talking about the championship?
Yeah, that Nebraska game. Yeah. So I'll never forget this. There was a guy, a prognosticator, a handicapper that some relatives of mine may have known, and he said he was really good all year long. You know, I mean, he hit probably 65%. Pretty good for a handicapper. That's not awful. 65.
Is this Robert Parlay?
No, it wasn't Chicago Bob Parlay. But he said, all right, he told my relatives, who eventually told me, he said, hey, this is the best game I've ever seen in my life. Lay it all on Florida, whatever you got. Ooh. Then he called back 30 minutes later and said, it's even better than I thought. Y'all ain't going to believe how bad this game's going to get. I think Florida went up 3-0.
He was right, yeah.
But anywho, yeah, it was bad. And the other game I remember is the FSU-Florida game where Florida wins the rematch in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
That was the championship they had, the one national championship they had.
Was it Reedale Anthony or Ike Hilliard?
They did the stop. He stopped.
Was it Reedale Anthony?
I thought that was Hilliard, but it may have been Anthony. I don't remember. But
that was crazy.
That was nuts. People don't, I mean, I'm sure, I don't even know if people realize, but a lot of people forget. Florida State beat Florida earlier that year. That was their only loss, and they absolutely punished Werfel. They hit him late. Yep. They hit him early. They hit him. They played to the echo of the whistle. They did,
as they say, and that's what I think. That's what developed the shotgun.
Yeah,
basically for Florida, and they beat them unmercifully in that bowl game.
Yeah, they didn't stop. But now, probably my favorite Florida game, Alabama-wise. I mean, the '92 SEC title game. I was at that contest, and anybody who was there knows that's probably the coldest I've ever been at a football game. I mean, Birmingham was just, uncharacteristically frozen and just brutal. But that game was something else. I mean, I'll never forget that. So probably the last true, real, energetic moment in Bryant-Denny. I mean, 94 Iron Bowl.
Field.
Yeah. I said Bryant, didn't you? I mean Legion Field, sorry. 94 Iron Bowl was, where Pat Nix gets like an inch away from getting a first down or something.
Oh, yeah.
That one wasn't bad, but 98 Iron Bowl, had some moments, but they were two kind of bad teams.
That was awful.
Yeah, but that game, Auburn goes up 17-0. Alabama comes back and wins.
A 3-win Auburn.
Yeah, that was a rough one. But
with Bill
Oliver was the interim coach. That's right. Yeah. And but the Florida game I really remember is the 99 season, both of them. 99 in Gainesville. Alabama was just hoping. I mean, they had just lost to La Tech. Alabama was just hoping to go down there and not get embarrassed. Mike Dubose goes down there and gets a win over Steve Spurrier, which is just unheard of. And I remember there was a muff
went
punt.
Into overtime, right?
Yeah, it went to overtime. Florida scored, misses the extra point. Alabama scores on the very next play. The very first play, 25 yards, Sean Alexander behind Chris Samuels. Alabama misses the extra point, but Florida was offsides. And then Alabama kicks it again, and I swear to this day, I don't know how it went. I don't know how they called it good. If you watch it from the back of the end zone, you think, he missed it again.
Was that Pflugner?
Boy, I don't think that was Pflugner. I think it was somebody else, but I cannot remember. But I remember, but then I went to the 99 championship game that year. And again, all we heard going into that game, it was my first date with a girl going to that game.
Revenge.
And all we heard going into that game, and this girl doesn't have a dog in the fight. She was a Georgia Tech grad. She was just like, I was sort of on a blind date to the SEC title game. Pretty good blind date of me.
Really?
But it all worked out. But so Alabama, I'll never forget this. Florida's it feels like Florida's going to uncork it at any time and just blow it open. And then Steve Spurrier gets mad, and I think it was Jesse Palmer. They throw a pass, it's incomplete, and Milo Lewis almost picks it off. You can almost see Spurrier say, "Run it again." You know how he used to do that? Like, I know this is going to work. They ran the same play. Milo Lewis does pick it off the next play. And then
wasn't he doing quarterbacks every play?
Yeah, he was swapping them out every play. And then Alabama goes on to win and beat them, just convincingly, beat them right into submission. Freddie Millins had an incredible run in that game. That was also the game. It's pretty funny. I don't remember the exact time of the game. I want to say it was in the third quarter. There was a guy that was with his wife, apparently, and Alabama scores, and he starts doing the Cabbage Patch, like in the stands. And it looked just like you would think a middle-aged white guy like him would do the Cabbage Patch. It was awful. And his wife's celebrating. She turns around and looks at him like, okay, I want a divorce. That's what it looked like. And TV caught all of it.
Yeah.
But, that game was pretty special. But obviously the 09 SEC title game meant a lot. The 08 title game was fun until the fourth quarter. Tebow was just special.
No question.
He was a dude.
The 89 Auburn Florida game was crazy. You look back on it, so many of those games that I'm fond of, you look back on and it's 7-3, it's 10-7, really? Nothing happened. It's just three yards and a cloud of dust for the whole game. And then it gets down to crunch time and Dye's like, okay, Pat, let's throw the ball, and we go right down the field. And I think we faced like a 4th and 10 or 12, and was able to get that. Or maybe not. I think that was the play. It was 4th down and long, maybe 10. Shane wasn't in the corner of the end zone. It was the corner opposite I was sitting. That's one of the first Auburn games I ever went to, and I was hooked ever since, going to games and stuff. But that was one of the fun ones. The game in 2000, what was that? 2000. It was
a Spurrier team where
Tebow was a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
What year was that? I'm thinking.
Boy, that would have been like 06.
No, 2007. Yeah, 2006.
Yeah.
It was the year they won it.
Yeah.
With Chris, what was his name?
Chris, he's from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Chris Leak.
Chris Leak, yeah. We blocked the punt, and we were just getting run out of the stadium in the first half. And Tuber was good about that. He could go in and make adjustments, and we came out, we blocked a punt. Trey Smith dove over into the end zone. The crowd, that's the loudest, one of the loudest moments I think I've ever heard in Jordan-Hare. Trey Blackman picked up a block punt late and ran it in, kind of took it away, to kind of put it away. But, been some really fun. Mentioned that 83. That was the one.
The 93 game that you couldn't watch.
The 93, the 94 game, I was in Tennessee. Watched that game on a 2-inch television up in the stands of a volleyball meet.
But Lord, what's wrong with you?
I had to be there. I was in college. I was working.
Oh.
And so I had no choice. But I was not going to miss that game.
That game was on ABC.
Oh, it was so good.
Now, the 93 game I remember because I think that was the same day Alabama was playing Tennessee in Legion Field. David Palmer scores to give a 2-point conversion to tie. And I think the Auburn-Florida game was going on at the exact same time because Auburn couldn't be on TV.
Right.
So it didn't matter what time they played. You couldn't watch it anyway. And everybody was following that game as they were in the Tennessee game. It was pretty nuts.
Calvin Harris had a 100-yard interception return for a touchdown. I think that was right, Calvin Harris. But just a ton of fun. A lot of games.
What do you think Florida's all-time record against Auburn is? I'm a little shocked by this.
All-time record. I'm gonna say I don't know how many times have they played.
Well, it'd be 84 times.
84 times. Okay. I'm gonna say Florida leads at like 50-something.
Auburn has a 4-game lead on Florida.
Wow.
And you know what? In fact, it's kind of funny. Like we're talking about these. I don't remember the last time Florida beat Auburn.
Yeah.
I remember when Caddy got hurt, they beat them in that game in Gainesville. Other than that, the last several have to be in.
We tried to lose in 2003. That's the only reason we lost that game. But yeah, we beat some bad Florida teams. We beat some really good Florida teams.
Oh well, that's true. They did. Florida did beat them last time they played
96.
with LaMichael Pirine.
Yeah, but 96 they just absolutely shredded us. 95 they beat us pretty bad.
God, this is crazy. I'm looking at it now. I don't remember this. Florida had a 7-game winning streak until 2001. Auburn wins 23-20 in 01. I guess that was in Auburn, but
we went in 06 and 07.
That's crazy. I did not. I would have bet money that I couldn't name that many games Florida has won because all the games we're talking about, I remember pretty vividly. It felt like Auburn just always had Florida's number.
That's true.
But
and
frankly,
like you said, Florida was not that good.
Yeah.
Before mid-80s or really before.
That's true.
Don't go anywhere. We got to take a break. We'll be back with hour number 2 of Sports Blitz Live right after this.
The Alabama Slammer. It's a popular drink at parties, but drink too many and you'll wind up in this Alabama Slammer. And if you drink and drive, get ready for a real Alabama Slammer. If you're involved in a crash where a driver's been drinking, you're 4 times more likely to die.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Hi, this is Jimmy Gorey, Gorey's Furniture. Come join us for the madness of March. Come join us here at Gorey's Furniture. Make a purchase Shoot from the line, 5, 10 to 15. That's % discount off your total ticket. So come join us. Let's have some fun. Everyone's a winner. Everyone will save. Come join us for the Madness of March, and that's only at Gorey's Furniture.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Hour number 2, Andy Graham and Luke Robinson here with you until 9 o'clock this evening. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us this evening. Going to go back to the phone line and welcome in another special guest, Mr. John Neighbors from Locked On Hogs. John, how you doing this evening?
Guys, I am rolling. How about you?
Doing really well. Thank you so much for taking some time for us tonight. Love to talk a little football. It is that time of year. We are all looking forward to the beginning of practice. The Arkansas Razorbacks have been through some valleys, but the hiring of Sam Pittman has worked out really well. He has made them gotten back that respectability to Fayetteville. Last year, a little bit down, 7-6, 3-5. What's the expectation for 2023?
Well, the expectation, I think, for most fans is to make significant progress forward. You know, they went 9-4 just 2 years ago and had one of their best seasons they've had in a decade, or at least close to it. And you mentioned it going down to 7-6. Even though that was a winning record, and even though that was better than some of the seasons Arkansas had before, Razorback fans felt ultimately they should have been better than just 7-6, at least 6-6 in the regular season. They had lost a 3-game stretch of 7 combined total points, and had some injuries to KJ Jefferson, had some injuries to the secondary, and they were close in a lot of games, but that's not what matters. What matters is can you win them, and Arkansas just wasn't unable to do that. But this year, they have made a lot of changes. They've added a lot of important depth out of the portal. They have 2 new coordinators, and most importantly, they have KJ Jefferson, the quarterback coming back for Arkansas, as well as a great running back in Rocket Sanders. So fans are feeling like this is going to be a year where they have to take significant steps forward to the 6-6 season isn't going to make anyone happy.
All right, I'm just perusing the preseason All-SEC defense and offense, and it means nothing. I understand that. But I don't see an Arkansas guy on the defense anywhere. Does that give you any cause for concern?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a cause for concern because you just have so many new faces. There's a lot of uncertainty there. I wanted to say that Dwight McLaughlin was on the All-SEC second team.
I do. I see it right there. I'm sorry. I missed it. Still, regardless, one player for 3 various teams, it just sort of sticks out to me, especially last year when I thought Arkansas's defense, I thought they had some pretty good players, especially Drew Sanders, who transferred from Alabama. I loved him.
Yeah, he was pretty much the lone bright spot. But, you know, if you look at it from the roster comparison from last year to this year, you're replacing essentially everyone in the secondary except for Dwight McLaughlin and Hudson Clark. You're replacing all of your starting linebackers, essentially, and all your defensive linemen, essentially. So you have a few pieces here and there, at least some guys that did get some playing time. But overall, it's just a whole new roster, and that's why you're not seeing any names on there that may be recognizable. But at the end of the day, I don't think anybody's saying that's a bad thing because Arkansas' defense was 124th in the country last year, dead last in the SEC. So I think changing up the entire roster may not be the worst idea.
Looking at KJ Jefferson, I mean, this is a guy that, I mean, it seems like it's feast or famine with him sometimes. I certainly like him a lot. There were times where I mean, he looked like he's the best quarterback in the conference, and then there are other times it feels like he disappears. Rocket Sanders, just awesome. I read that this is the first time in several years that the SEC is bringing back 2 running backs that both rush for more than 1,400 yards. Of course, Judkins did and Rocket Sanders did. Is this team going to go just as far as the offense takes them?
I mean, I think so, because, listen, the team that Arkansas had last year offensively, you mentioned how bad defense was. Offensively, they were our 15th in the country, and also, I believe, 4th in the SEC in total offense. And they were able to go 6-6. It just makes you wonder if they just had an average defense last season, you're probably looking at a 9-3 team for sure, maybe even more. So I think that that's kind of what they're going to aim for this year. They're going to aim for being in that same realm when it comes to the offense each and every game. But can the defense just improve enough to be average? They can just be middle of the pack. That's what's going to set them over the edge. But it's going to be about the offense. If the offense can pick up where they're at, they're going to keep them in games. So you got KJ, you got Rocket, you got the tight end position that's been upgraded. Even though the wide receivers, there's going to be a lot of new faces there, I really like the size and some of the guys they got out of the portal. So if the offense can just keep it going the way that they had it last year and the defense just be improved enough to be average, I don't see any reason why this team can't win 8 or 9 games next season.
Yeah, as an Auburn guy here, I love Travis Williams, always have. Thought he did a phenomenal job at Auburn. Hated to see him go to Central Florida, but glad he's back in the SEC. Have you been around him much, or what's your opinion?
Well, he's a big energy guy, and I think that that's what Arkansas needed is some new, fresh energy. He's got a lot of youthfulness, and I think with him and also with Marcus Woodson and some of the other guys they've added defensively, they have done a phenomenal job at getting guys out of the portal to come help and also doing a really good job of recruiting. And to me, at a place like Arkansas, you're never going to get the elite 5-star talent that you can get at other schools each and every year at every position. But some of the best Arkansas defenses that have ever been around in the past 20 years have just been when you've been able to have 3 or 4 bona fide NFL guys and some soft players around them. If they can just do that where it comes to the recruiting side of things, I think they're going to be fine because, again, you want to have scheme, you want to have good defenses and all that, and I totally understand that. But if you just got the players to go along with it and at key positions across the board, there's no reason why a guy like Travis Williams, who has shown that he can recruit, can be a great defensive coordinator for Arkansas. And just being honest, again, it sounds bad, but he can't be much worse than what Arkansas had last year. So this year, it's kind of a free reign for him. And it's like, hey, as long as you're just not dead last again, you're going to be fine and everyone's going to love you. So he doesn't have a very high bar to cross them.
Yeah, I'm checking out the 2023 schedule. I did really appreciate what Arkansas did last year with their schedule. You played Cincinnati, who the previous year had been in the playoffs. You go to BYU. That's 2 pretty big-time brand names that Arkansas put on the schedule along with the SEC. That's tough to do. This year they do they swap Cincinnati for Western Carolina, but BYU is going to come into town. That should be fun. But then this road is just so arduous. At LSU, A&M in Arlington, a place that Arkansas just seems to be cursed in that game. At Ole Miss, at Bama, and then Mississippi State at home. I mean, that may be a bit of a reprieve before the bye, but wow, that's a tough 5-game stretch starting with BYU and ending at Alabama.
Yeah, it's just a tradition like no other. Arkansas having the most difficult schedule in the SEC. And as crazy as it is, though, I think this year's schedule is easier than what it was last year, mainly due to the fact that you mentioned the rough stretch in the middle of the year. But Arkansas should win every home game in Arkansas this year because you got your non-conference games, which Arkansas should win all 4 of those. And then your 3 conference games at home is Auburn, Missouri, and Mississippi State. Now, Mississippi State has a brand-new coach with Zach Arnett. He could be great, he could be not, but you still feel like you got a great chance in that game. And then Auburn's got a new coach in Hugh Freeze. I don't even think they have a quarterback. So don't really know what that situation is going to be. In Missouri, you feel like you should be better than this year because you better be. If you can't, you got to stop losing to them. So that should be 7 wins for Arkansas just at home alone because they do have an easier home schedule. But you mentioned the road stretch there and the neutral site. My whole thing is between the LSU game on the road, A&M in Arlington, and then at Ole Miss and at Alabama. If Arkansas can just go 2-2, if they can win 2 of those games, they're going to have a great year. Like, they're going to have a 9-win season. I firmly believe that. But you can't go over. You can't start off 3-0 and then and start 0-4 in conference play, and then expect you to finish strong, because then the pressure gets put on for you to have a great turnaround. So that's an important stretch for them. They cannot go 0-4. They'll probably go 1-3, but if they can find a way to win 2 of those games, I think Arkansas is going to be in for a great season and a great finish.
You know, I don't know what the record is, but that Arkansas A&M game every year is just one of those contests that if you talk about rivalries nationally, that game would never come up. But if you're an SEC fan, that's a game you got to watch. I mean, it's something funky seems to happen in that game all the time. There's always some kind of weird play. KJ Jefferson going over the top to basically probably seal it. And, he fumbles, and A&M takes it back the other direction. Before you know it, it's a ball game again. It's just there's always something crazy in that game. I think it's one of the more fun games every single year.
Oh, yeah, it's a blast. So it's such a blast for Arkansas. But no, you're right, though. There's always so many weird things in that game that it happens. It even dates back to when it was Brett Bielema versus Kevin Sumlin. Every year it felt like Arkansas was a better team and was in control of that game, but it would just get away from them for whatever reason. It's so weird, but I keep telling everybody this, and this is why this A&M game for Arkansas is such a key game. Arkansas and A&M have been playing each other every single year since 2009 as part of the Southwest Classic, all right? Every single year. Arkansas's only won 4 of those. They probably should have won a lot more, but they've only won 4. And in those 4 years that they beat A&M, their final win total ended up being 9 games, 10 games, 11 games, and 9 games. So the best seasons Arkansas has had in the past 15 years have always been when they've beaten Texas A&M. And then the other ones just haven't been the same. So if you want to know the key game for Arkansas every year to a make or break season, that's the one. If Arkansas wins that game this year, they're going to have a great one. If they don't, it's probably going to end up being another 7-5, best case scenario 8-4 type of year. But that's the game that is always so weird, but really dictates Arkansas' season the rest of the way.
John, thank you so much for being with us, taking some time for us. Good luck to you the rest of this fall camp, and good luck to the season.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
See you, John. Thank you, buddy.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Talladega Outdoors in Talladega
is your authorized Kawasaki sale and service center.
Your home for Bad Boy mowers and Kimco scooters, four-wheelers, and side-by-sides. Rather for hunting, land management, or recreation, they have the ride for you. But they are also everything outdoor with full lines of accessories and is now your Ariat workwear and boot store, along with kayaks and outdoor accessories.
Talladega Outdoor, Highway 21 in Talladega.
Everything outdoor and Alabama's #1 Kawasaki dealer.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us tonight. JR Sports Bar and Grill, Sunshine Heating and Air, so many great sponsors here on the show. We appreciate them so very much. Thanks to John Neighbors for being with us. I like a guy that's excited about his team. Excited until it's time not to be excited. And you
which
always
usually is
know
game
when that
2.
is. Well, when they lose to Texas A&M. You know it's bad.
Boy, I'm going to tell you, how big is that game this year?
Oh, I think I looked at that this afternoon when I was making this up. BYU, who's no pushover, that's not a guaranteed win, by the way. He said open 3-0, but that's not a guaranteed win. At LSU, Texas A&M in Arlington, at Ole Miss, at Alabama. That's
a tough stretch.
That is a tough stretch. He said go 2-2.
I mean, I think he should be happy with 1-3, honestly.
I would.
And the one, I mean, look, maybe they can get by Ole Miss. I think
they beat Ole Miss last year, but again, it's
different. If I'm not mistaken, when they play Ole Miss this season, it should be right after. No, that's not right. I was going to say right after Alabama and Ole Miss. Alabama and Ole Miss play on the 23rd. So, boy, I tell you, and then, okay, you beat Mississippi State. I mean, I think we all think that. Then he has a bye. They at Florida and Auburn at home.
That looks like about the time Auburn and Ole Miss play. Somewhere, I think we play Georgia and Ole Miss back-to-back.
Okay.
I think that's about right.
Oh, you play Georgia September 23rd? Is that right?
I think so.
Wow.
Because we open with UMass, then go to Cal, then Samford, and then LSU, and then
no, it's A&M first. You're at A&M first.
At A&M, maybe,
and then Georgia,
and then Georgia.
Yeah, that's what it is. Right. So, wow. No, I think you got A&M. I think you must have Georgia on the 30th.
Okay. Well, that's right. Well, I think that's what I was saying right before they play. Arkansas plays Ole Miss.
Was Auburn playing Georgia have anything to do with that?
Nothing. Not a thing.
That's not what you were saying.
Apparently.
Nice try at the rebound. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this schedule and I'm just thinking, if they can go 1-3, I mean, forget 2-2. If they can go 1-3, beat. I think the only two they could beat at Ole Miss or A&M at home. And
you said that Alabama plays Ole Miss the week before Arkansas plays Ole Miss.
Right, and then I said they don't.
I say Auburn plays Ole Miss the week before Arkansas plays Ole Miss. That's what I was saying.
Okay, just let it go. Sometimes you guys got to let it go.
Am I?
You're way off.
Why is that?
Can we talk about this later? I feel like an old married couple at the restaurant. You're embarrassing me in front of my friends.
Apparently so.
Okay, so then you have that bye week on the October 28th. At Florida, Auburn at home. Those two are super crucial. I mean, I feel like, honestly, I probably trust Arkansas more than Florida.
It probably all depends on what kind of season Florida and Auburn have had. As much as, when they get there. Auburn usually plays Arkansas early.
Yeah.
So playing them late, I mean, is this an 8-2 Auburn team? Is this a 2-8 Auburn team? Is this an 8-2 Florida team?
My guess is Auburn has 3 losses coming into this game because my guess would be the losses to A&M, Georgia, and LSU. Or A&M or Ole Miss, and then LSU and Georgia. I think that's very fair. So if Auburn is, I guess they'd be probably 7-3 coming into that game. Feeling pretty good. It'd be a pivotal game for Auburn, but I think a pivotal game for Arkansas too. Look, I thought John was very reasonable, and why shouldn't you be if you're an Arkansas fan, right? I mean, you've never even really sniffed the playoffs, but he's not. He's like, look, we're trying to get to 9 wins. Let's just get to 9 wins, and I think that that's a very reasonable goal for Arkansas.
Do you think if they go 6-6 or dare I say 5-7.
I don't know that he'd be
Sam
fired.
Pittman would be in trouble.
I don't know because, man, you'd hate to. Gosh, what are you going to do?
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do though if you're Arkansas? I mean, you've already, tried to go for the home run in Bobby Petrino, and that backfired miserably.
I thought they had as much money as Texas.
I think they've got plenty of money. I mean, look, nobody's got as much money as A&M in Texas, probably, right? But Auburn's got one of the richest man in Alabama is an Auburn booster,
Sure.
right? But not all these boosters are comfortable doling out all this money. I mean, how do we know the Waltons really want to help with Arkansas's NIL? We assume it because we look at it from a fan's point of view. There are a lot of boosters out there that don't have near the money of the Waltons or the Raineses or the whoever in Texas, the oil barons there, but they maybe give a lot more money, at least to the NILs. Now, they may not give as much money to building a new business center or whatever, but it's all, if you want to win, you got to get your NIL game right. And that's one thing that, frankly, that's one thing I should throw in there. I've heard Auburn's NIL game has really stepped up with Hugh Freeze being there, which makes sense because if you bring in a coach that people believe in and people want to get behind, people will fork out some dough. Ironically, if you have a coach that doesn't know all those things, people tend to back off, which is probably the time you need to do it more. But, yeah, I've heard Auburn's NIL game has stepped up somewhat. And, hey, I'm not here to condemn it. I'm here to say kudos to them. That's what you got to do.
You got to play the game, as Randall likes to say. We got to take a break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today. Lake Area Realty at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
The 40th Annual World Deer Expo, presented by Prodigy Health Plus, July 21st through 23rd, BJCC, the world's largest hunting show. Discounted tickets at worlddeerexpo.com.
Looking to sell your car, truck, or SUV? Look no further than King Honda. As a local family-owned business, we're committed to providing you with the best service and value. Nobody pays you more for your vehicle than King Honda.
You trusted us for generations. You can trust King Honda to give you top dollar for your vehicle, whether you buy from us or not. Trust in our time-tested tradition of excellence at King Honda.
Visit King Honda today and get top dollar for your vehicle. Located on the corner of Opelika Highway and 280.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you only for a few more segments in tonight's show. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Again, thank our guests for being with us and providing great information. Tonight, we'll continue the SEC preview next week, hopefully. We'll see what happens with that. We'll pick out 2 teams, and we'll talk about it. Who knows
who we'll do?
Who knows?
Craziness. I know who we won't do, Vanderbilt.
No, we won't. Favorite or most memorable Arkansas players and coaches?
Darren McFadden.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
And Felix Jones. You talk about dynamic duo.
Agreed. And Felix Jones, he was a pretty good pro, too.
Probably lasted longer in NFL.
I think he did. Yeah. And Peyton Hillis, for that matter.
Uh-huh.
But I'm going to tell you, Darren McFadden, when he was on his game, that game he had against LSU, the year LSU won the national championship.
Freakazoid.
I mean, honestly, at the time, I remember, I think that was 2007. At the time, I remember saying, all right, you know, in the SEC hierarchy, there's always been, you know, Bo and Herschel and I guess maybe Emmett, but I'm putting McFadden in there. I'm like, you tell me McFadden wouldn't have had, I mean, if he had played in the Bo and Herschel days, that he wouldn't have had those kind of numbers.
Oh, yeah.
He was a freakazoid. I can't believe
he didn't win the Heisman.
Well, how he didn't win the Heisman, how it didn't work out in the pros.
Yeah.
And I remember his recruitment so well because, you know, Mike Shula obviously was going after him real hard. It turned out great because I remember Shula was also very close to getting Tim Tebow and Darren McFadden, and he doesn't get either one of them. Thank God, because if he does,
still around.
He probably, I don't know if he's still around, but he's around at least one more year.
Yeah, he'd have been there for 10 years.
But anyway, it's just, you know, sometimes you thank God for unanswered prayers.
Yeah.
And but McFadden was Clint Sterner. We talked about this.
That 98 Arkansas team, brutal. I mean, brutal. They would run it down your throat.
They were good.
Madre Hill.
Yep.
Chakuma. I don't remember what his first name was. Clint Sterner, though, he was just good enough. But that was the most bizarre game. I mean, they beat Tennessee for 4 quarters. And just kneel. Just kneel and punt the ball. But
couldn't do it.
I think it was maybe a little wet, but he just stumbles back and just literally places
puts the ball
and
on the ground.
And I wonder, you know, they always say the ground can't cause a fall.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
But I mean,
but I don't see why you can't place the ball on the ground.
Yeah, and he just kind of fell down. And Tennessee kicks field goal and wins. And goes on to win the national title.
It's kind of crazy because Arkansas has made have they made 3 appearances in the SEC title game?
I think
right.
It's 3. Yeah. Once with Malzahn, once in
95
they played Georgia.
In 95 they went and played Florida and got destroyed.
That's right. Barry Lemon.
They also played Florida another year in the 2000s.
Okay.
I think it was.
Maybe that was with Malzahn.
I think that's when, and they got beat pretty badly.
That was 2000.
And they played Georgia one year, you're right. So
2009, right?
I think they've, no, it wasn't 9.
No, he was at Auburn. It was 8.
Yeah. No, 8, Alabama and Florida played that game.
I guess it was 2007. Is
that correct? 7 would have been LSU and Tennessee, I think.
I'm out.
I'm out.
Well, I mean, he was at before he came to Auburn.
Well, I don't know that they went with Malzahn.
They did. I remember. Yeah, I know they did because it was 06. It was because they came in and
that was
beat
against
Auburn.
Georgia.
They came in and beat Auburn with Malzahn just because Auburn did stupid things.
It could have been against
We
Florida.
lost 2 games.
Florida won the title that year, so it had to be against Florida.
Okay. I think that's right.
Okay.
But there's a third time that I can't remember when it was.
But, you know, when you think about that, I mean, you know, Alabama's been the most from the West. Then I think LSU is next. Then I think Auburn is next. And it's Arkansas. I mean, I mean, I guess who else would it be? Mississippi or Mississippi State? It certainly wouldn't be A&M. They hadn't been yet, and Ole Miss hadn't been yet. But, you know, Arkansas going to the SEC title game 3 times isn't awful.
No.
That's just not awful. I mean, they have some history. They have some history. They have some tradition. But you wonder if they're just in over their skis in this conference.
But could you imagine anybody in the top half of the SEC that we would consider old, even adding in Texas A&M, that could go 2-10, 0-8 back to back? Can you imagine that being possible?
That's tough.
That Arkansas did that.
Yeah.
I mean, they went 3 years where they won 1 SEC game.
Alabama beat them back-to-back years 52-0.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. Now, and one other stat, I said that rivalry was 8-8 before Saban got here. Now it's 23-8 in favor of Alabama. That's one of the teams he hadn't lost to. I mean, it's kind of it's almost like, and when they had Ryan Mallett, who just tragically passed, you know, in that horrible accident in Destin, that 2010 team, they had a good squad. In 11 they had a good squad.
Yeah.
Tyler, what was his last name?
It
escapes me. We do no homework on this show. But they had a good team. They've had their opportunities. And then, of course, they bring in Bielema. And I mean, shame on me.
He was the one that came in and replaced Mallett, who got hurt in the Auburn game in 2010.
Yeah, and he was pretty good.
And he was very good. Yeah.
But, they bring in Bielema. I thought that was going to be a match made in heaven. I did. I thought, hey, a guy who's going to fit their style, and it came to the SEC at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Just like Mike Leach came at the wrong time. I mean, that came at the wrong time, and Bielema just could never get a foothold. He had a real problem. He wasn't beating Alabama, but nobody was in those times. But he couldn't. The Auburn bugaboo was something bad for him.
Yeah, that's what Auburn always struggled with Arkansas with Tommy Tuberville. But then when he left, it all changed.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this is not. Of course, Arkansas went kind of downhill. But with Bielema, the only game they won against Auburn was a
4 overtime,
and that Auburn had to drop like 20 passes in the first half.
That was a weird
to even
game.
Be close.
And in the overtime, if I remember right, they dropped a pass. Yeah, that was a bizarre game.
Lou Holtz. Danny Ford.
Yeah, now Danny Ford.
Now he took him to the SEC title, 95, like you said.
He did. And when he first got there, I remember, they joined the league, and he wasn't there that first year they joined in 92, I don't think. I think he joined the next year. He might have and I remember they played Alabama at home because I went to the game. I was a student. And he said he saw Antonio Langham. He said, they got a lot more Antonio Langhams than we do. That's what he was talking about. Like, that's why they beat us so badly. But then in 95, they won the conference. Of course, I think Danny Ford, it just didn't work out. And then their next coach, who was it 92 when they lost to the Citadel? When they first got in the league? Remember they lost to the Citadel, and it was a big deal.
Yeah, that's going way back. I don't remember.
Was Joe Kines the head coach? I think he was.
He may have been. He may have been.
Maybe on an interim basis.
Because they brought in Danny Ford as a consultant.
That's right.
And he ended up taking his job.
But they lost to the Citadel at home. And since then, they've also lost to, North Texas?
They couldn't stop the trap.
They've lost to North Texas. They've had some horrible losses. I mean, just god-awful. Boy, and you just wonder, you look at the landscape of the SEC, and you wonder where. I mean, look, I looked at their schedule for next year. Now they avoid Alabama in 2024. They avoid Georgia in 2024. Okay, so you look at those and you're like, okay, feel better about that. But they still got to play Texas. They still got to play at LSU. I think they play Auburn. I think I saw that. They still got to play A&M. It's just where their wins come from.
Yeah.
I mean,
question. Minus KJ Jefferson.
Minus Rocket
year.
Sanders.
Yeah. Up against another break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Sports Blitz Live right after this.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Have you met your local farmer's insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Let Riverbank and Trust open doors for you. Whether you're purchasing land, a lot by the lake, or building or buying a home, begin with Tallapoosa County's loan experts. They'll guide you through the entire process, providing local decision-making, prompt responses, and the best real estate loan solutions for your unique needs. And in most cases, Riverbank and Trust can close your loan in 30 days or less, and they'll walk by your side every step of the way. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. We invite you to experience it for yourself.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today, Lake Area Realty, at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Well, welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Just a couple more segments left in tonight's program. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. It's been a fun one. It's gone by quickly. We appreciate all of you out there being with us. How about an unusual rank 'em?
I'm with you. Go for it.
Today happens to be.
Don't be like rank your favorite Crosby, Stills, and Nash songs. Every now and again you do that.
Yesterday happened to be Michael Richards' birthday, which was also Linda Carter's birthday, by the way.
No. Michael Richards just happens to have been born on the day Linda Carter celebrates a birthday. That's a better way to look at that.
That's true. So, in celebration of Michael Richards' birthday, how about we rank some Kramer quotes?
Okay.
All right, these were considered the top 8 from some magazine or some. Now, I don't think these are the top 8, but these aren't bad. Okay, so I'll just throw them out there randomly, and you tell me where you would put this in the pantheon. I'm out there, Jerry, and I'm loving every minute of it.
That's good.
That's number 1. Okay. So.
The look on his face. You have to know the look on his face during all these. And I'm loving every minute of it.
And you have to understand, the tidy whities.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work. Couldn't do that because, Kramer wanted to procreate. What do you think, Junior? These hands been soaking in ivory liquid.
You know, I swear I've always thought that line could have been better.
Oh, really?
I know the line. That's when they're in the van and he's talking about the guy asked me if he's ever killed a man, and now he said, "What do you think? These hands have been soaking in ivory liquid." I always thought there was something better that could have gone there.
He does motion the choking somebody.
Yeah.
Sort of. They're supposed to be like the Manson family, essentially. Leave it to Seinfeld to make fun of the Manson family. All right, just because Jerry Seinfeld's a has-been, don't make little Jerry Seinfeld that ever was.
That's good.
I love that one. I love that episode.
That is a great episode.
There are so many different things about it. Number one, Jerry bounces a check at the bodega. And there's just the interaction in that. There's so many things that are just so quick and so, he says, can't you take my check down? Marcelino, and he says, that's still policy.
Yeah.
And he said, but you're the manager. He said, even I am not above the policy.
That is great.
But he says that, Jerry says, this is outrageous. And then he says, pack of juicy fruit. He says, 75 cents. That is outrageous.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely true. Okay. Who's going to turn down a Junior Mint? It's chocolate. It's peppermint. It's delicious.
That's a good episode, too.
The Junior Mint.
The Junior Mint. That's a great episode. I wouldn't put that near the top, though.
Okay.
Junior Mint sort of speaks for itself.
That's true. It's the better line in it is Jerry, when they're eating at lunch, saying, all right, let me go see him cut this fat guy up.
Yeah. Wait, let me ask you this. This brings up a great point. Has anybody made a Junior Mint ice cream?
Ooh. I think, mint chocolate chip is
yeah, but I mean, when you go to like Marble Slab or any of these other
I never been to like
I never see a mix-in of Junior Mints.
I never have either.
And you should.
That is
now it can only go with like vanilla. You don't think? I mean,
Reed
you don't want
works
it strawberry.
At the ice cream factory. Get on it, Reed.
Reed, get on up. That sounds like some Bluebell.
Junior Mint.
Bluebell Gold discovered right here on Sports Blitz. I'll give Andy 25% credit.
Thank you. Look away, I'm hideous.
look away, I'm hideous. And you know what's funny about that? If you've ever seen anything on Seinfeld, he had to do that line several times. Because number one, everybody was laughing. When he walked in, his whole face was, he said, you look like a catcher's mitt. And he did. And his whole face was yellow and brown. And everybody kept laughing. And he finally got it right. It was great.
Jerry,
that may be my favorite.
Laughing, yeah. Luke, do you think people will still be using napkins in 2000? Or is this whole mouth vacuum thing for real?
And I remember he looks like, I think it's Jerry and Elaine look over at him, and then they just go back to talking. They're like, that was so stupid.
I don't want to exclude anybody.
Yeah.
And finally, well, I thought they wore gloves and helmets, like American gladiators.
Talking about the chicken.
It was so good, little Jerry Seinfeld again.
Yeah, that's a great episode, man. To still watch it when it comes on. Look Away, I'm Hideous has got to be number one. The rest of them are all tied for two.
That's a pretty good one. I'm out here, Jared. I'm loving every minute of it.
That's good.
That one, brought the house down because the look and the Elaine just starts backing.
Yeah, the look
backing up away from.
He said, "Don't you see what's happening here?
Don't you see what's happening here?" He went sans underwear.
Yeah.
Which
said the only thing between him and us is a thin layer of polyester.
Gabardine.
Gabardine, that's what it was.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with one final segment of Sports Blitz Live right after this.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? But make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Talladega Outdoors in Talladega is your authorized Kawasaki sale and service center. Your home for Bad Boy mowers and Kimco scooters, four-wheelers, and side-by-sides. Rather for hunting, land management, or recreation, they have the ride for you. But they are also everything outdoor with full lines of accessories and is now your Ariat workwear and boot store, along with kayaks and outdoor accessories. Talladega Outdoor, Highway 21 in Talladega. Everything outdoor and Alabama's #1 Kawasaki dealer.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, the final segment of tonight's show. Thank you so much for all of you spending your evening with us. Thank you so much again to our guests, John Neighbors, Brandon Olson from Florida, Locked On Gators, and Locked On Hogs from the covering Arkansas Razorbacks. Continuing our SEC preview next week, as I mentioned, and we'll decide which two teams. We'll spring them on you. It'll be a surprise.
Airing of grievances. I don't know if I really have a grievance, but I'll tell you this, man. SEC Media Days, 4 days. I mean, people get there on Monday. It doesn't really start till, I guess it starts Monday, right? It's people get there on Sunday, then they don't leave probably till Friday. The votes for who is the media picks don't even come out till Friday. Everything's nutty. The Pac-12 had an SEC Media Day.
Yeah.
I mean, not SEC Media, Pac-12. It would have been better if they had an SEC Media Day. But they had a Pac-12 Media Day. 1 day.
Well, here's the difference. Texas was picked to win the Big 12. I think they had 25 or 27 first-place votes. Georgia was picked to win the East. They got 265 votes. Okay, that's just first-place votes. The people that vote in this, there's like 12 people that cover that conference.
Well, they don't turn anybody down for credentials apparently at SEC Media Days, which, I mean, it works out for them, but it does give you stupid stuff like 5 people voted Vandy to win the East. Yeah. That's stupid. Don't,
8, actually.
Again, or they voted to win the SEC.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. Just don't. You're not funny. It's not funny. It's just stupid. Like, we're already not buying into the preseason stuff anyway. Don't make us buy into it even less. But the Pac-12 has 1 day. And so when you ask yourself, do you think the Pac-12 can make it without UCLA and USC? No. No, they cannot. And they shouldn't.
They're not worried about poachers.
They shouldn't make it. I mean, everybody talks about, Rick Newhouser loves to talk about, well, that area of the country and the blah, blah, blah. They don't care as much.
No.
It's not that big of a deal. And fine, okay, y'all don't care as much. We don't surf as much in Alabama. It's okay. I'll see the occasional surfer at Orange Beach, very occasionally.
Not as many vineyards around here.
Not as many vineyards. We're doing okay.
That's okay.
We got our way. You got your way. That's fine. But
not as many crash and grabs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
either.
We don't have to lock up all the refrigerators at Walmart, or at Walgreens either. But I just, why does everybody feel like it's necessary to prop up the Pac-12? Like, they can't make it. If Oregon and Washington will also go to the Big Ten, which I assume they'll go to the Big Ten or Big 12 or merge into something. We don't need the rest of them. I don't mean that as a shot at Utah or Washington State or Oregon State or Stanford or Cal. But frankly, I mean, Utah, I would love for Utah to make it somewhere. I'd love for Utah to be in the Big 12 or something. That'd be great. Let them go to the Big 12. And maybe Arizona and Arizona State.
Without Oklahoma and Texas, they probably dominate the Big 12.
Yeah, and okay, that's fine. And I can accept that conference. Now, let's also accept that would be the fourth best conference, right? The Pac-12 this year does have the best lineup of quarterbacks, but that's it. They have a great lineup of quarterbacks. They got Caleb Williams, Michael Penix Jr., I think Bo Nix, Cam Rising at Utah. They've got Dante Moore just signed with UCLA. They got some dudes at QB now. Okay, that's great. After this year, they won't. I mean, and USC and UCLA will also be in the Big Ten. And then there you go.
Yeah, the ACC does get 4 days. The Big Ten, though, only has 2 days. They only have Thursday and Friday.
That's kind of stupid, too.
Yeah, so.
I mean, it's stupid if you're them.
It's just, again, they love football. I'm not diminishing that at all. But even the people in, the upper part of the country here don't love it as much as the people in the South.
That's right.
That's just a fact. I don't know why people, as much as you want to make fun of it, means more.
And see, a 12-team...
There's never been more true axiom.
And a 12-team playoff ain't going to save the Big 12. More people ain't going to a Washington State game because they got 12 teams in the playoff. You could expand to 68, they wouldn't.
Yeah. I think that's probably true. It's going to wrap it up for us on this edition of Sports Blitz Live. Thank you again so much for being with us. Be sure to catch the Auburn Blitz tomorrow, 12 to 1 on this same bat channel. Be with us again next week, same time, same channel. For Luke Robinson, I am Andy Graham. So long for now. We'll talk again soon.
Coastal Construction Design is the area's storm specialist experts and offers free roof inspections absolutely free to assess your needs. Their roofing experts get your home or commercial needs handled from start to finish. They have worked with all major insurance sources for decades, and they are permitted and approved for Lake Martin. Coastal Construction Design also handles exterior restoration, including siding and gutters. They are also a GAF certified contractor. Visit coastalconstruction.pro or call 251-215-3429. Coastal Construction Design. All things roofing from start to end.
Are you looking for something really good for lunch? Are you tired of the same old fast food? Well, go to Buck's. Get a meat and 2 sides or a meat and 3 sides for the best deal in town. Buck's always serves up the best food, including fried chicken, wings, hamburger steaks, catfish, shrimp, and yes, of course, the famous Buck cheeseburger basket. And Buck's has dinner specials too. So if it's your turn to cook dinner, Buck's will be glad to do it for you. We appreciate your business and look forward to serving you.
Have you met your local farmer's insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.